All right, hi everyone. This is another awesome match in Alliance Tournament 7. This is the second quarterfinal. Is that right? Or the fourth quarterfinal? No. This is a semifinal now. It's between Beyond Virginity and Red Overlord. Quarterfinal, sorry. Beyond Virginity and Red Overlord. Beyond Virginity has brought two Ravens, one Tempest, one Vulture, one Basilisk, one Hugin, one Saber, and one Thrasher.
Yeah, and this is Rias. I've been looking forward to this match, and we've got Red Overlord with two Widows, two Chronos, an Oneros, and a Lachesis. So pulling back a pretty interesting setup.
Yeah, I mean, Red Overlord has been marching super expensive ships through this entire tournament, and it's really worked out well for him. One thing they're trying in this match that hasn't worked out for most teams so far is only bringing six ships to the field.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, the numbers that we've seen says there's about a 60% advantage, not a 60%, but 62% of teams that field 10 ships do better than other teams.
Yeah, and we saw, like, in the last match, Sabers and Thrashers making a real big difference. They got kind of lucky here since there's not a lot of support on the Beyond Virginity side either. But anyway, we're underway now. Kronos were closer to the most of the Beyond Virginity team than the rest of Red Overlord. And Beyond Virginity was all pretty far back from the beacon. The Ravens pretty comfortable at least 20 or 30k. Teams headed towards each other now, though.
Yeah, not seeing a whole lot of jamming. I kind of expected to see quite a bit of it coming from those two Widows. I do see some sensor dampening or possibly tracking disrupting coming from the Red Overlord team, but missiles are definitely flying from those Ravens right now. So somebody's still able to get a lock, somebody's still able to do damage, and they are pretty much knocking down the shields on one of those Cronoses as he enters armor.
And Red Overlord just dropped drones, a lot of damage drones, which is something that hasn't always been the case in this tournament. Beyond Virginity using some bouncers, some Tech 1 bouncers, that's a little weird, and some medium shield maintenance bots headed for what I assume is the Basilisk. The Red Overlord team, a lot of teams using rep drones to take care of their logistics ships. Red Overlord not needing to do that as their Kronos just gets demolished as the torpedoes start landing from those Ravens.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on with the Oneros pilot. I would expect the Oneros to already be getting some reps on that Red Overlord Kronos, but he's dropping into low armor. And, oh, there he goes. He's now starting to receive those reps. That's going to be pretty important that he keep his team up. Now, obviously, he's under a whole lot of damage pressure right now from the Beyond Virginity team, who are known for being extremely heavy hitting. Ozzo and his Tempest is probably one of the best Tempest pilots out there, and is really going to be socking it to him. Plus, those Ravens hurt.
Yeah, Torp Ravens are fantastic, especially against battleships. It was a good bet to bring them because Red Overlord's been using battleships for most of the tournament. They used some Tech 3 as well, but Cronoses have been common, so it's not a bad deal. The damage gonna be sporadic as those Widows get jams and then lose them, but it looks like for now, Beyond Virginity definitely getting the best of it. That Kronos now in structure, which is pretty unbelievable.
And the Basilisk pilot for Beyond Virginity doing a really great job of keeping Ugluk up in his Thrasher. Now, I just love it when I see extremely high skill point characters flying small ships that pretty much anyone can get into. It shows that no matter how old or experienced you are in this game, there's always a role for any pilot. And that Kronos explodes with a big old explosion, and now it's on to BYDI to continue finishing off this the rest of this team. I think they can do it.
Yeah, I think they're in really good shape. Losing that Kronos, that's like losing close to half of their total damage output. The rest of their team, a lot of E-War support. It's kind of surprising that their E-War wasn't able to keep, at least delay the amount of damage that was incoming, and it looks like there really isn't any stop to it. I still see torpedoes just chaining one after the other on the way to that Kronos.
It's interesting when you see teams that can come out with basically unlimited money, which is what the Red Overlord team has done. Every single time they get on the field, they're putting out top dollar. They're putting out Cronoses, they're putting out Widows, they're putting out T3, and that costs a hell of a lot. And to see them taken on by a low-sec pirate corporation who, are reasonably individually wealthy but certainly don't have the type of pockets, I mean, this is like a Cinderella story of a match in some ways.
This is really good flying by the Red Overlord Kronos pilot. Well, I guess good. It's definitely interesting. At this level of the tournament, seeing some good piloting by a lot of the teams. The Red Overlord Kronos headed away from his targets towards his logistics, getting out of range of the torpedoes so that he can get rep back up. So now he's back at full HP. Beyond Virginity will have to come in closer, and but once they do that, they'll have the option to go after maybe the Lachesis or the Oneros even. As they close range. It looks like the Ravens for Beyond Virginity micro warp fitted. They're moving really quickly, and now they're back on top of that Kronos.
Cavalry Ravens, gentlemen. We haven't seen those in a long time. That is a gutsy move. Obviously, those micro warp drives are going to cause the BYDI team to sacrifice a little bit of their capacitor and overall ability to tank their ships, but they feel that this is, that controlling position is clearly more important than that capacitor bonus.
Something really interesting, I keep saying things that are really interesting. We're about to lose that Kronos. He's hurting really bad now that most of the Beyond Virginity team is right on top of the Red Overlord team, but I'm really surprised Red Overlord even now is able to put out very much damage. Most of their battleships not running ECCM. I see the Raven and their Tempest both not running electronic countermeasures, so the fact that they're able to lock and do damage is pretty surprising.
Yeah, and one of the Red Overlord, or the Red Overlord Lachesis, their dampening ship, obviously starting to take some damage. It looks like the Saber and the Thrasher are pretty much, right in there in the mix, though. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that Lachesis, but I don't think he's going to last a whole lot longer, and it's sure as hell not going to be that Kronos pilot as you get yet another pretty explosion.
Yeah, there is that Kronos. That should seal it. I've seen a lot of times in this tournament we're trying to give you guys conclusions before the match is actually over, and then teams turn it around. But there's just no damage left for this Red Overlord team. The cruise missiles that the Widows may or may not have, along with that Lachesis, really is nothing that should be a concern for Beyond Virginity.
Well, and not only that, but Nick, a little out of his element, usually using dreadnoughts to hot drop jump freighters in 0-0, so perhaps not as experienced in the Widow as we might hope, but that Widow obviously armor tanking with no shields left probably won't be a whole lot longer. The 5 lows not going to give a big advantage even over a Scorpion.
You can see here something that's been common in the tournament. Widows running cap transfers to each other, and then running cap transfers to the Oneros to make sure that Oneros has enough cap, and that frees up his mids from what would normally be cap rechargers or something like that so that he can run a
well, just about
ECCM,
anything.
That's what. I knew there was something.
Now, Ugluck down. We have lost one of the Thrashers for the BYDI team. I don't think that's going to make a difference here at all. It looks like BYDI is going to have a comfortable victory here as the Widow enters about half structure, and boom, there goes another one. Oh, I spoke too soon.
If I say Scorpion, I mean Widow. Just for future reference.
Yeah, when they
Beyond
have the
Virginity
same model.
taking out that Lachesis now as well, so Beyond Virginity looking like they're going to have no troubles getting through this match with everything intact. They had a Thrasher, I think, that they lost.
Yeah, just one
and
Thrasher.
That's going to be it. So really impressive show that puts Beyond Virginity through to fight, what, like Circle of Two in the semifinal? That should be a really awesome match.
Yeah, Circle of Two has been doing a good job. I mean, basically you get this far, you've been doing a good job and you've been doing it right. So, I don't even know what's left to commentate. It's just going to be a matter of time as that Widow drops to low armor.
I have to say, one thing I'm curious about is the fitting of a lot of the battleship stuff for Beyond Virginity. At this point, with the teams being so, good and committed and complex, honestly, the setups are a little bit over my head. I don't know what this Tempest is up to. The Tempest, obviously, kind of an uncommon ship in the tournament. It's running a shield tank for sure, but it has the support of the Basilisk, so there should be a free mid or something at least. I don't see any ECCM running. I haven't seen any neutralizers running that I could remember. It's just a real interesting setup they brought, and it's done so well. I'm curious about what exactly is going on with it.
Yeah, and BYDI has a history of being very good at reacting quickly to the battlefield and able to adjust their tactics in time. And there's the last explosion as the Oneros pilot goes down. So BYDI, congratulations, you guys are on to the next round. And back to you, Soundwave.